Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you a demo of a product that we at AUMAI have created. This is about clinical trials patient identification. This product is called as Trial Matcher, and I think this is really going to help uh, in clinical trial recruitments because this will not only save the cost drastically, but it will also help to expedite the patient identification process, which will in turn help in faster recruitments. Also, it will help in reducing the false positives and the false negatives, and it's definitely going to save a lot of infrastructure cost. Okay, so before we dive into this demo, let's first have a look at how the current trial process works. Okay, let me show you how the current system is. Okay, pharmaceutical companies, they will, when they come up with a new drug, to get that drug to the market, they need to get the FDA approval, and for that, they need to go through the process of clinical trials. So there are several phases of the clinical trials, for which they require a specific population who meets the criteria, who meets the inclusion and the inclusion criterias of that study. So basically, what they do is they would outsource the recruitment to CROs, contract research organizations. And that would cost, depending on study to study, that would cost somewhere between 50K to 500K. Okay. And it takes months to establish the contracts, etc. Now that's not the real challenge, but after that, CROs, they partner with certain vendors, and those vendors would then do all the integration work because if you want to find eligible patients for a study, you need access to all their clinical data. Okay. So how would you get that clinical data? So you have to build a warehouse. You have to build a data warehouse. You have to integrate with different hospitals using different EHR systems. So that integration cost, that infrastructure cost is huge. Okay. It is in hundreds and thousands of dollars. Okay. And then once you have the data, there's a lot of efforts that goes into pre-processing and processing the data and get it into a canonical model, you know, uh, process that data, find the matching patients, and some of the criterias are such that uh, they are not documented in the structured data. So on top of that, the organizations, they have to use uh, natural language processing to find some meaningful information out of the patient notes. Okay. And also, uh, there are cases where there is a lot of manual patient screening that has to be done. So the site coordinators will manually review the patient charts, and that again takes a lot of time. They'll spend hours reviewing the chart and checking for the information. Also, there are a lot of false positives and false negatives that they have to deal with. So this entire ecosystem, this entire process, delays the recruitment, and in turn, it delays the entire clinical trial process. A delay of a month would cost millions of dollars in loss of revenue, etc. On top of that, there are data completeness issues. So, traditional EHR systems, they would only capture 30 to 40% of the eligibility data. And a lot of critical information is actually in the unstructured clinical details. So again, doing NLP is very, very expensive. Okay. All right. So how the Om AI trial matcher is different and how it will help in faster recruitment, accurate recruitment, cost reduction. So let's look at it. Okay. Okay. So basically, there is no need for a data warehouse, no need of integration with different EHRs and expensive infrastructure. So how OMI Trial Matcher is different and how it can help in this entire process to reduce the cost, to expedite the recruitment process, get the drug to the market quickly, and save lives and save a lot of cost. So let's look at it. So basically, one of the features of OMI is that it is a smart on fire application, point of care matching. Okay, it's a real time trial matching. So what OMI does is OMI enables instant clinical trial matching within the doctor's workflow using AI and NLP on EHR data. Okay, so basically, the application is sitting inside the EHR, okay, and you launch it from the EHR, and it gets the data instantly for that patient. It doesn't store the data anywhere. It does the in-memory matching, and it immediately returns the results to you. Okay, so it is built on smart on fire integration. Okay, and because it is real time, it is cost and time efficient. Okay, and how it improves the enrollment outcomes is because if there are any criterias that are not met or are suspicious, or system doesn't have enough confidence on that criteria, the doctor can face to face immediately discuss it with the patient and get the information from the patient, and they can immediately decide if that patient is eligible for that study. Also, it will help the site coordinators who manually review the data to do that automatically. Okay, so let me show you a small demo. So let's quickly see a demo of how the Om AI Trial Matcher works. So this is the dashboard screen where you will see all the patient's information. But how do you come to the screen? So basically, this application is not a standalone application. So if you just try to go to trialmatcher.omei.co.in, it will see that this application is not meant for standalone use. So it can be only launched from inside the EHR. Okay. So basically, as we don't have an EHR here, so we are simulating that environment. So Smart Launcher, just imagine this is the EHR. Okay. And right now you are on the patient's chart. Okay. So what happens is there will be a application icon which you will just click, which here I'm clicking on the launch button, which will launch the application. So if you click on it, it says launching OMI Trial Matcher, redirecting for authorization. So basically, your the EHR application passes all the patient context and everything. So the patient window is open, okay. And as you launch this application, it will do all the authorization with the EHR with the FHIR server, and then it will get all that patient's data. So if you see now, it says loading patient data, and here we have our patient. Patient's name is Michael Johnson, and here in the summary section you will see all his clinical information, like the records, the number of diagnoses, medications, notes, and procedures, and lab observations, everything. So let's quickly go through the data. So when you click on any one of the boxes here, it will open the relevant section and show you the details. So if I click on diagnosis, it shows that this patient has a non-small cell lung cancer recorded on 20th Jan 2025. Again, there is so it will show all his diagnosis information, and respectively you can see all the patient's information. So what all procedures were done, biopsy of lung, CT of chest, everything. So basically this application is built on smart on fire, and it accesses that patient's data from the EHR. Okay, and all the clinical data. So it will also get the clinical notes and documents. So if you see here, uh, it shows all the detailed documentation, the notes that the doctor has put in the EHR for that patient. Okay. Now you go to clinical trial section, and here you will find all the studies that we have configured. Okay. So right now let's go with this study, which is pembrolizumab chemotherapy for advanced non-small cell lung cancer. So I can select one study, or I can select multiple, and I can start matching. Okay. So let's select one study and start matching. And meanwhile, doctor can just on his side screen open this application and select a study and start matching. And meanwhile, parallelly, he can uh, provide services to the patient. Okay. So let me tell you what happens meanwhile this matching is happening. We have already got the matching results, if you see. Uh, Let me tell you what happened. So we got all the patient's data from EHR. Then we used a matching algorithm, okay, at runtime. So we are not storing this patient's data anywhere in the database. Okay, this is in-memory matching. So AUMAI uses a sophisticated matching algorithm, okay, which is 99.99% accurate. So it avoids a lot of false positive and false negative cases. On top of that, for patient notes and all the important information that is unstructured, uh, we use natural language processing using the machine learning models. Okay, so that is how basically the matching works. It can match on very complex criterias, where it has to match on two events, that the one event has to be within uh, a time period of the second event. So even those kind of difficult complex matching criterias can be handled. Okay, so let's look at the matching results. So in the inclusion criteria, it says histologically or cytologically confirmed non-small cell lung cancer, and it says that this patient has a diagnosis of non-small cell lung cancer, which is this code, and the condition was on 15 Jan 2025. So that's how it gives you details, and the weight is also here. It tells you if the patient is eligible or not. Okay, and what is the total score, what is the total weight. So this patient is 100% eligible, and it gives you details of each and every criteria with the reasoning. So example, the stage 3B, stage 4, or recurrent NSCLC. So locally advanced stage 3B, not amendable to curative surgery or radiation. So if you see, this criteria has been fulfilled using the notes of the patients. Okay. So it's also shows the section of the notes that was matched. So found in document reference. Okay. And says the patient has stage 3B disease based on clinical staging and does not have targetable mutations. PET scan shows stage 3B disease with N2 lymph node. So basically, it does a lot of complex matching also, and you can simply download the patient results in a PDF format. Okay, this gives you the entire detailed matching report. So all of this can be done when the patient is actually present in the front of a doctor. So if there are any doubts, or if there is any missing information, that can immediately be confirmed with the patient. And guys, that is how you see that this doesn't require any data warehouses or any ETL processing. So this is very low on cost, and it is high on accuracy, and it will definitely help in expediting the recruitment process, which in turn will help the pharmaceutical companies to get their drug to the market as soon as possible, which will definitely help in saving a lot of lives. So, yeah, that is what I wanted to show you today. So, if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching. Have a happy Diwali. Bye.